My guest today, Mostafa Al-Mashita. He is the co-founder and director of sales and trading at Secure Digital Markets, and we're also joined by Yacine Ouldchikh. Yacine is a senior trader at Secure Digital Markets. What is Secure Digital Markets? Well, we'll learn all about this today, but essentially it is a digital asset brokerage that offers institutional, high net worth, and corporate clients access to spot trading, derivatives, and lending services. Welcome to the show, Mostafa and Yacine.
Thank you for having us, Sandy.
Thank
It,
you. It's a pleasure.
it is a pleasure to have you here. So, gentlemen, I think we'll do what we do at the beginning of the show. I'll get you both to introduce yourself. Love to hear a little bit about your, just personal and professional backstory, what you've been doing get in the lead up to getting involved with crypto markets and indeed secure digital markets. Mostafa, let's start with you. Yeah, just a quick intro, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mostafa Al-Mashita here. I have been part of the SDM team for a little bit under 6 years. My background is completely untraditional. I came in from the health field. I was supposed to go into dentistry or medicine, and I was well through that path before jumping deeper and deeper into the layers of the Bitcoin and crypto rabbit hole. So that led me to, first get introduced to the industry because of effectively Dogecoin back in 2013, 14. And that was I would say, the intellectual jump into the rabbit hole. And then if it eventually spiraled into the financial jump into the rabbit hole in 2017, and quickly, learned through trial by fire throughout the years, jumping into as many different topics within the industry as possible to learn more and more. And 2018 is when I professionally entered the industry, as I wanted to learn more and more about the underlying mechanisms of how the market operates, how businesses operate within the industry, and joining a corporate environment and building something up from scratch to better serve and impact the industry as a whole.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mostafa. Let's go to Yacine. Yacine, same from you, please. A quick intro.
Yes, perfect. I'll make it quick. So yeah, my name is Yacine. I've been working at SDM for a little over 2 years as a sales trader. Started my career in the TradeFi markets as a research analyst, providing institutional clients with trade ideas, bank hedge funds. Really got the trading itch, so decided to join a proprietary trading firm, trading mostly US and Canadian government bonds, a little bit of oil, Brazilian interest rates as well. Yeah, I've been personally trading crypto since 2017, and kind of got tired of the TradeFi market, to be honest. So decided to join SDM. It's been a little over 2 years, and just been very excited to help institutional clients enter this industry in just really different ways. So just really excited to take our clients to new heights.
Excellent, excellent. Very good to hear. Mostafa, so hey, look, love that you were originally introduced to the space by the wonderful Dogecoin way back in the day. Amazing that Dogecoin is still around, still relevant, still, is it in the top 10? Maybe just outside the top 10 or lurking thereabouts. But Dogecoin aside, I think it's probably good to start to learn more about secure digital markets. Mostafa, I'm sure you are probably best placed to do that. So please, yeah, tell us what is secure digital markets?
Yeah, absolutely. So SDM is the institutional gateway into the digital currency market. So we offer on-ramp, off-ramp services through trading for institutions. So we do spot trading for a number of different participants of the market in a number of different sectors. So our offering spans from spot trading, lending, derivatives, and asset management. So we have been, we started out from Toronto, and that's where our headquarters currently is. But we have offices across the world servicing different clients from different backgrounds. Our ability to service clients from spot, lending, derivatives, staking, and lending has really helped us propel our firm from a small operation to trading billions of dollars on an annual basis. And yeah, our goal is to grow in jurisdictional presence and in terms of growing in a financial service ecosystem for our clients to participate in.
Yeah, and just in terms of the jurisdictional presence there, so what does that look like at the moment in terms of who can access SDM?
So we currently service anyone in North America, South America. We service Europe, some parts of Africa. We will have more concrete operations in Africa coming very, very soon. So I would suggest if anyone's interested in that to follow our socials for further announcements on that. And we are starting to grow our footprint also in the MENA region and starting to kind of grow the service offerings within those jurisdictions. The regulatory landscape has allowed us to grow spot in more jurisdictions to start. And as time goes on and as regulations permit, we're starting to grow the scope of our offerings within those jurisdictions as well.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Yacine, look, from the perspective of the trading desk, I'd love to just get some of your insights in terms of, I guess the different clients that you work with. You don't need to identify them, but, let's describe some of the different clients and kind of, what they look like, Yacine.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we really mostly cater to institutional clients. So there's no doubt that they have a lot more experience in the crypto industry as opposed to the retail markets. We definitely, we cater to a wide range of clients, from miners that have to liquidate on a daily basis, from payment providers, from Bitcoin ETFs who have to liquidate, who have to, increase their inventory to then liquidate with their clients. We also deal with high net worth individuals that are looking to increase their crypto holdings, or who are, interested in acquiring a loan with the crypto as collateral. So those are most of our clients. But anyone really trying to get in and out of the crypto industry, we also deal with import-export clients that, to be honest, don't really care about the crypto industry, but prefer to trade in stable coins to just make their transfers a lot quicker. So really any institutional client that are seeking to either purchase crypto or liquidate the fiat in a seamless fashion.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're seeing some of those clients have slightly different needs than, say, your average crypto investor who's just wanting to, buy and hold spot on Coinbase, or perhaps, a DeFi user who's getting into DeFi and looking to maybe lend or borrow against their collateral. What are the kind of, I guess, specific needs that SDM is really built to provide for your institutional clients? What are they really looking for?
So what they're looking for, the stuff would always say, I think there's definitely a priority in terms of offering very competitive settlement times. Pricing is also of utmost importance, but I think customer service is what we really take a lot of pride on. I think that a lot of our clients really enjoy the trading experience with SDM, and I think it's very important to offer a white glove service. And I think that's the biggest differentiator, right? I think a lot of people can compete on price or different coins that they offer, but I think our white glove service, our approach of really familiarize ourselves with the client and just being there during across the different trading needs, I think that's definitely one of the biggest advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also chime in that there's two types of clients that we really focus on, which is the discretionary trading clients and then the utility clients. So the discretionary trading clients, we assist them with our suite of products and services. So we have a suite of algorithms that clients can use to enter or exit the market in as stealthy or as loud of a manner as they wish. Some people want to make a splash. Some people want to enter in a very quiet way, depending on their preference and depending on the strategy that they're looking to deploy. we can do that through spot or derivatives, and allow them to also access liquidity from their funds through our lending instruments. The utility clients, I would say, utilize cryptocurrencies as a way to transfer value across the globe. And that's the beauty of what we offer, and the beauty of our ability to grow from a jurisdictional perspective.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, Mostafa. Look, gentlemen, you guys, or Secure Digital Markets, you guys published a really interesting report recently that was kind of like I guess, a big overview of crypto market trends across 2023 and what to expect going forward. So, I'd love to kind of dig into some of the data points that came out of that. Maybe just before we do that, we should just provide some context in terms of, the big narrative at the moment in Bitcoin or in the crypto markets, of course, is the approval of the 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs based out of the US. Approval was in January, of course, by the SEC, and well, that has provided a little bit of disruption, I think, to the Bitcoin market. It's been fascinating to see, the effect on the market in the 2 or 3 weeks that those ETFs have been available for trading. So yeah, just love to understand a bit of context from both of you in terms of, how much of a game changer this is, what are the implications, and how we see the space changing as a result of the Bitcoin ETFs. Mostafa, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the biggest takeaways of the ETFs is the appetite of different groups that were otherwise sidelined. And I think that speaking about the mechanics of the ETFs in general, we did see an immediate sell-off, which was definitely notable, and had quite a big impact on the market short term. And I think that that will lead to a further appreciation in asset pricing in the long term, just due to the nature of everybody having the PTSD from the futures ETFs that were passed off in the previous markets cycle top. The spot ETFs are fundamentally different, and I think that now that we've seen a little bit of the GBTC effects being felt in the market, now there's a consistent and regular interest and buying power from the RIAs, from the family offices, from anybody that was looking for that regulated way to purchase digital assets and not have to deal with the custody element. So the inflow outflow ratios are improving on a regular basis, and ultimately what we're seeing now is that ETFs are allowing digital assets to be traded as a risk-on asset in the public markets, and that's that's resulting in a much more kind of stable, a little bit more of a stable asset. Obviously, BTC and is a high beta play to all risk assets. But this will help dampen the volatility that we've all experienced over the last few years.
Sure. And, it was interesting as you kind of hinted at there, Mostafa, just as the ETFs were launched, the price kind of jumped right up to 48 or 49, whatever it was, and then subsequently dropped right back down to 39, 38 or so, as that GPTC sell pressure just kept flooding the market with, I guess, FTX were or the FTX estate was selling a lot of the FTX GBTC holdings. That seems to have died down, but I saw today some discussion on crypto Twitter that now I believe Genesis have been approved to sell a whole lot of the Grayscale Trust Bitcoin that they held. So that'll be the next big selling block, Mostafa.
Yep, we could definitely be seeing that. We're also coming into the next 2 months, really, give or take, prior to the halving. And historically, we've seen a lot of miners liquidate their holdings leading into the halving. I think that overall, I don't want to channel previous market leaders and say we're entering into a super cycle, but there is definitely, grounds to be set that the market is in a completely different place than it has been in the past. So we might not see this the traditional cycle being followed. Although it's interesting to see the 4-year cycle, continuing to play true to tone in continuous, fashion over the last 10 plus years. I really do think that there is the ETFs have opened up a new pathway for investors to come into the market. And in the past, you would see an on-chain alert for a large number of BTCs moving, and the market would immediately react. However, more sophisticated instruments have allowed for post-trade settlement in a more compliant and trusted manner, which allows for movements to be accumulated rather than distributed following those on-chain movements. So that news is definitely potentially worrying, but there's a lot of assets coming into the market that will likely buy up some of these coins from the, call it, less patient holders to longer term, more patient investors into the space.
Yes, indeed. Very well said. Thank you, Mostafa. So I mentioned the Secure Digital Markets report, year in review 2023 or look ahead 2024, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there's some fascinating data points in it, as I mentioned, and one of them was I think it was an interview with one of the Bitwise team, effectively, and they gave some great insights in terms of what they were seeing, from their investors, from financial advisors, and the like. Yacine, do you want to just jump in here and maybe you can talk to some of those insights?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely interesting to have been able to cover the interview with Bitwise. They shared some pretty interesting facts. I think the most interesting for me was the fact that these ETFs really opened the door to around 80% of 80% of really the investable wealth in America. I think 20% is mostly concentrated from the retail markets, right? The average Joe trying to increase your crypto holdings, as opposed to 40% responsible. 40% represented by investment advisors, and another 40% from institutional investors such as pension funds or family offices, right? So to go back to piggyback on what Mostafa was saying earlier, for me, I think that not only does the ETF provide such a regulated, easy route for people to invest in cryptocurrencies, just like the ETF of gold, I think in the year 2004, right? No one has to really work on securing the physical gold, right? It just makes it a lot easier to carry, to invest in the products. I think that for me, these ETFs are really, it definitely opens a door to a whole set of clients that are interested in investing in cryptocurrencies. For the longest time, I think 88% of financial advisors were interested in allocating crypto for the clients. Clients in the big banks were begging for some kind of regulated exposure for crypto products, right? So finally, these financial advisors are allowed to push these products to the clients and are really incentivized in order to do so, right? So you finally have a regulated vehicle for people to invest in cryptocurrency. So I think that's what's going to fuel the global adoption of cryptocurrencies, right? So I think it's a very, very big deal. I think the benefit really comes in the long term. A lot of people are very, especially as a trader, I'm always interested in short term price action. But I think if people are patient, they will see the big benefits of having companies really invest in cryptocurrency. I think a lot of companies weren't just waiting for these ETFs to be approved to allocate millions of dollars right away. I think it really takes time for policies to be changed, for these companies to learn more about the asset class. And I think with that, we're definitely going to have a massive benefit in the next couple of years. And hopefully this can maybe push, governments around the world to shift their policies to be a little more inclusive to this new and innovative asset class.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you, Yacine. Very much agree, and I think that's a great point that is really important for people to keep in mind. Is that as much as there's a lot of excitement around the launch of the ETFs and the daily, whether it's an inflow or an outflow that day, it really is a long-term game. And I was, I don't know if you guys watched the Super Bowl yesterday, but of course, the famous halftime Super Bowl ads, and probably to the crypto industry's relief, there were no halftime ads about crypto. There was no Coinbase ad, no ETF ad. And I think that's probably a good sign that we're not really too frothy. We're just really at the beginning of this next cycle. We're just at the beginning of the process that will play out in terms of all these ETF advisors, really all the ETF issuers putting in place their marketing campaigns. They've got to educate all the financial advisors, and the financial advisors have to educate their clients, and the clients have to allocate, and this takes place over a long-term time frame. But of course, it just means that the bid for Bitcoin is potentially there, and it's potentially strong, and it's potentially long-term, Mostafa.
Yes, I think it is a long-term bid. I think that, looking at even just Google Trends in the United States alone, just for the Bitcoin search term, we're still way below what is, even the start of the 2021 run, right? So we haven't even breached any of the levels that we've entered and sustained throughout the entirety of 2021. So retail interest is just starting to pick up. And I think that the definition of retail will change over time, and the definition for our industry. And I think that everybody starts with one entry point. So for me, it was Dogecoin that piqued my interest. It was another meme coin that was actually built as a fork of Dogecoin, but we don't have to go there. And then that led to me getting into the entire ecosystem. So now more than ever, there's a lot of on-ramps to get you into the industry. And that's very important because Bitcoin appeals to me in a specific way. USDC or USDT settlements that cost less than $1 to move 1 million or 10 million or $100 million appeals to somebody else. NFT marketplaces appeal to the artist that wants to earn off of their artwork for years to come versus earning off of a one-time physical that they create. There are endless amounts of opportunities to get involved in the market, and the more that we focus on the user experience and make it seamless for the average Joe to interact with the blockchain, that is how we win long term. And ultimately, that comes in multiple different methods. So over time, as the user experience, as the onboarding gets improved, we'll see more and more interest. I mean, the Solana phone alone for the V2 that they just recently launched, they sold 100,000 devices, or pre-sold 100,000 devices. That serves as an entryway for a lot of people, right? Nobody has to work on setting up the wallets on their laptops or regular phones. Now they have a device that they can actively use for trading, for experimenting, for building. So there's quite a lot more that needs to be done, but ultimately it's the user experience for me.
Yeah, that's great points. And yeah, I mean, the Solana phone was runaway success, really. And well, so was Solana. Solana's had an incredible year since, of course, the FTX debacle. Solana, of course, probably being the best performing asset in the top 20. And it means that the kind of, I guess, the Ethereum guys are a little bit frustrated by this. Ethereum is underperformed, whereas traditionally in the past Ethereum really has outperformed. So I guess a lot of people are waiting for Ethereum to take charge again. One of the catalysts for that, of course, is potentially an Ethereum ETF, and beyond that, I don't know. Do we get Do we get a Solana ETF maybe? Do we get a Dogecoin ETF? I would suggest probably not. But yeah, Yacine, do you want to just jump in here in terms of just as finishing off, I guess, the ETF discussion in terms of what happens next? Will the SEC approve an Ethereum ETF, and do we go beyond that, or we just stay to the big two?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to bring up the idea first of ETH underperform Bitcoin.
Yes.
That has definitely been on the books here for a while. I was definitely a bit surprised to see how much it has underperformed. But at the end of the day, since those banks have come down in March 2023, that has definitely lifted the idea of Bitcoin potentially acting as digital gold, right? Ethereum doesn't have that quality, at least for now. Crazy to see ETH underperforming that much. I do think there's a possibility for ETH outperforming Bitcoin this year. We'll have to see, especially with the approval of the ETH spot ETF. But to go back to your question regarding the possibility of other crypto spot ETFs, there's no doubt that one day we're definitely going to see. I mean, we should be able to see Solana spot ETF, or maybe a Ripple. They're definitely going to start based on market capitalization. I think ETH is definitely next in line. First of all, for liquidity purposes, it's number two in line, right? There's no way of really regulating a spot ETF with a market cap of 1 billion, right? And also, after discussion with Bitwise, they had shared the idea that they don't personally believe ETH spot ETF would get approved. However, it's a possibility, and for the main reason is really because of a regulated futures market, right? That exists on the CME, right? There's only two products that you can actually trade on the CME in the futures market. It's Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? You really need a presence of a liquid, regulated venue, and then from there, the conversations can continue regarding another product, right? And then ETH has a different regulatory outlook, right? The idea that it went from proof of work to proof of stake, and now, I think the SEC or the CFTC that believe that it could potentially be a security, right? So that could have an impact. There's also a political game going on between the SEC. It's also like an election year, so that can have an impact. Maybe the SEC wants to, the Democrat view by not approving the ETH ETF. Clearly, they weren't very happy about the SPY ETF approval. But there have been multiple reports about an ETH ETF approval being around 50%, especially before the month of May. I wouldn't expect the ETH ETF approval to take place. If ever it would, I definitely think it would be towards the final deadline in the month of May. But it's really interesting to see what's going to happen after. I think BlackRock mentioned they might offer an XRP spot ETF. We'll see. For me, ETH will be next in line. It's really tough to estimate with certainty if it's going to get approved in the month of May, because of everything I mentioned. But I believe there's a way they can get approved, and I think it should be bullish, and just the positive feedback loop that would take place if ETH would go on an next bull run would be massive. I mean, right off the bat, you have arbitration and optimism. The NFT markets would come back to life as well. So ETH going up would definitely be very, very bullish for a ton of other altcoins and just the market in general.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Sorry, Mostafa, did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I did want to jump into the ETH ETF. I mean, whether it happens in May or over the next 12 months is a good question. I think that the Ethereum ETF offers a fundamentally different opportunity for the market as it allow for a wider range of products to be built on top of the ETF. So currently, we're seeing a bunch of submissions for ETFs that provide yield. And I think that's an important element to consider with how the market will grow. I think that there's also some submissions for ETNs, which is exchange traded notes, for products that also offer yield. The Ethereum product is very interesting, as you're pitching a product that is earning you a 2.76% annual reward rate. That's the current rate. With you and you have a average of 3 ETH per minute being burned currently. This is an interesting, marketing element that you could always spin for people when you're talking about an ETF. And markets love to pitch something that gives you a yield. It's something that an average retail investor will have their ears perking up versus the Bitcoin ETF. So ETH's underperformance has always been been a conversation point. And I think that, as we look at Ethereum currently, it's certainly underperforming, but we always see Ethereum pulling off the movements that it typically historically does a little bit during like the second or third kind of phase of the market. It doesn't always follow Bitcoin to start. It takes some time for it to really pick up traction. And ultimately, there's speculators that will come in the closer we get to these filings being submitted.
Yes, indeed. Look, Yacine raised an interesting point, which is that, of course, it's election year, I suppose, in the US. I think that's right. There's an election in the US in November. Which is it's going to be a volatile time in the world, I suppose. And you guys are traders, and traders love volatility. So love to just kind of get any perspectives on how you guys think about this, how your clients think about this, not specifically the election, but in anything. Just in terms of kind of crypto going forward, the likes of other strategies in terms of like how Coinbase, the shares in Coinbase do, or MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has been one of the outperformers in terms of the stock market, presumably because of their Bitcoin holdings. But it's just a really interesting market dynamics with such a volatile political landscape and, a really weird macro environment that isn't necessarily friendly towards risk assets yet. And yet, Bitcoin, the halving is 2 months away. It's kind of, it's lining up for crypto, perhaps. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, I think that's the macro landscape definitely got a lot better. But I do agree that I don't think it's we're exactly where we want to be yet. It's kind of weird to see inflation being expectations, a very, very strong jobs market, and then expect 6, 7 rate cuts in a year, right? That's a little unheard of. But there's no doubt that inflation has been somewhat tamed, and that we should be seeing at least 3 rate cuts at some point this year. In terms of election year, I think some of our clients are definitely preparing for increased volatility, mostly with our derivative clients. So we're definitely seeing a lot of trades that usually have been a lot more speculative in the short term. Now are being taken a little more long term with expiration dates near the election month, right? So that's happening. But just overall, I think that there's a lot of just positive bullish catalyst for Bitcoin to outperform this year and next year. And luckily for SDM, we have a wide range of different product suites catered to different types of institutional clients in order to better help you capitalize in this growing market. So we're definitely expecting increased volatility. But whether it's going up or down, there's always money. There's always way to make money in this market.
And just put you on the spot, Yacine, is it going to be a Trump versus Biden election? What would you, if you were a betting man and you wanted to jump on a prediction market, are we going to be settled on two old men who are a little bit quirky and eccentric in their own rights? Is that the best that America can offer the world?
I personally believe, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the firm here, but I personally believe it will be Trump and Biden. One is a little older than the other, but I think that we'll see. I mean, I think Trump has been a little more open towards cryptocurrencies. So if we're just kind of speaking about the impact of cryptocurrencies, I think crypto, regardless, is going to do well. I don't think whether it's Democrat or Republican, I don't think it's going to have a massive impact. But I do admit that the Republicans have been a little more favorable or a little more open towards, cryptocurrencies. So a market under Trump, I think, would be slightly better for crypto in general. I don't know if Mostafa, you'd like to share your view. What do you think?
Not going to make a political comment, but I'll say that Trump's NFT project, he sold over 1,000 ETH worth of NFTs, and I think he amassed over, $2.5–3.5 million in Ethereum proceeds from his NFT collection. And it was originally, at $99 when it first came out. So ultimately, I do think that, he's going to explore how you can, bring out some positive regulations. I think that's the number one thing that the U.S. is lacking from a regulatory standpoint regarding the digital asset industry is the clarity around what you can. What are the parameters? What are the boundaries that you have to abide by when you're innovating and building projects? And that will ultimately lead to a surge in attention, because ultimately the builders want those clear regulations in order to build onshore. And that will also lead to a better banking landscape for the industry as a whole.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you. All right. Well, look, gentlemen, as we start to finish off, maybe just like to get some closing thoughts. Anything you want to share in terms of what you're excited for this year? Any big events coming up on the horizon, and anything in, I guess, the product pipeline at Secure Digital Markets? What are you guys building? What are you guys looking to provide next for your clients? Yeah, just general look ahead. Yacine, shall we begin with you?
Yeah, sure. Personally, I'm just really looking forward to seeing this market further develop, whether it's this year or next year. I think that more institutional money will lead to more innovation, right? And I think that's very interesting, right? We had like the NFT market come in, the DeFi market, and if you see the growth of the crypto market every year, I think that has been absolutely astonishing. So I think the more money that really the more institutional capital that gets allocated, I think the more innovation we get, which would then really, help the global community in multiple different ways. I'm also just very excited for regulation. I never thought that I would be so excited about talking about regulation in the past. It's always been a, side of the capital markets that I was just never interested in. But I think in the crypto market, it's just much needed. And I think that will definitely help the market grow. So anything from stablecoin regulation to proof of reserves, really excited to see that coming. I think it's going to come within the next 2 years. So yeah, overall, excited for the market to grow, excited for us to keep building. We're releasing a mobile app to allow our clients to trade, hopefully at some point this year. And just, also working on growing our presence internationally. So just really excited to keep on building and to help our clients around the world.
Thank you. Great insights, Yacine. Mostafa, same for you.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to continuing to build the global financial services ecosystem within our company to service our clients. We are, working on innovative products that service our clients through our spot trading services for miners, for Bitcoin ATM operators, for family offices, for funds, VCs, anybody that really does need to work through either as much of a manual or as much of an automated process as possible. So that's been a major focus of our team. We're also working on innovating our derivatives offering, assisting our clients to get better positions in the market in as flexible as a format as possible, to capitalize on the upside, to bet on the downside, or to simply get a yield on their digital asset holdings. The goal for us has always been to provide kind of that entryway for clients in the space and to help them get better acquainted with the industry as a whole. So, for us, it's a matter of that jurisdictional expansion, that regulatory focus and operational improvement over time. And I think that this year is there's a massive focus from the team here to continue building those products with the client in mind.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mostafa. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you both today and hearing your perspectives. I suppose it'd be nice just to finish off if both of you would like to share your social profiles, anything like that, but more importantly, perhaps for anyone listening that wants to learn a little bit more about secure digital markets and how perhaps they can engage with your trading services. What is the best way for them to do that? What should they do? Where should they go? Mostafa, do you want to start to say goodbye and provide that information, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone listening, would love to have a chat, see if we can help out in any way with your on-ramp, off-ramp needs, hedging, or lending requirements that you might have. Our socials are SD_markets on Twitter and Secure Digital Markets on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. My personal Twitter is Almash, ALMASHHH. So we are always looking to have a conversation, say hello. I think that the majority of our growth has been through talking to clients and seeing what they need and finding a way to work together, even if it's just a referral agreement.
Awesome. And Yacine?
You could also, just to add on what Mostafa was saying, you could also check out our website at sdm.co to learn more about our different products that we offer to clients. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Yacine Ouldchikh, full name, not the most common name out there. But yeah, we're always here to always interested in talking shop, talking about the financial markets, talk about the market in general. So feel free to reach out. It'd be a pleasure to assist in any way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Been a pleasure. All the best and bye for now.
Thank you for having us, Andy.
Thanks a lot for having us. Take care. Bye.
Well, there you go. All right. That was the team from Secure Digital Markets, Mostafa and Yacine. That was fun. That was great. Great conversation. Those guys, switched on, smart guys. Of course, a link will be in the show notes to their website, but it is, sdm.co, as I think Yacine said. All right, well, there you go, team. We reached the end of another show. Do make sure you are subscribed to the Crypto Conversation on whatever podcast app you are using. But that is it for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin.